Welcome back. I'm Anastasia, and my mission is to build a community of acceptance and authenticity. I needed some adventure buddies for this journey of insight, and I'm so glad it's you. You are all welcome here, and I'm grateful that you decided to join me. This episode, we are also joined on our adventure by Hannah Davis, a fellow author in Pillow Talk and author of her upcoming memoir, Sugar Hit. I'm excited to talk about it. We also talk about the different versions of herself that she's been, how she has grown and learned to fully embrace herself. We talk about her writing, and we also go off on some tangents, some incredible adventures, if you will, over the course of the next hour. And I am so excited for you all to experience it. I loved going through this conversation. And so we're going to do a quick word about my clothing partner, and then let's see if we can build some insight today. Occupied Mind is one of my obsessions. I love the company, I love the clothes, I love the fit, I love the vibe, I love all of it. Occupied Mind's goal is to create a sanctuary of self-expression. Their belief is simple, yet profound. Everyone deserves to feel at home in their own skin. Who wouldn't agree with that? The shirt that I have been sporting lately simply says, "Not today," and I put it on and just rot on the couch. It's for my mental health, I promise. Use code INSIGHTSWITHUS15 at checkout to find a shirt that speaks your mind and bears your soul. That is OCTOPIEDMIND.com. Use code INSIGHTSWITHUS15 at checkout for 15% off. You can also find the link in my Instagram bio. Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
I'm so glad that you are here. Would you be willing to take a second and let the audience know who you are?
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting to be part of this project that we've been in together, working on the book Pillow Talk. And I'm very excited to be here. So my name is Hannah, and I'm in Canada, BC, and I've been living in Whistler for the past 8 years. And I started my writing journey probably two years ago, and it has just led me on a really interesting kind of wild journey. I broke up. I had a relationship breakup 2 years ago, and ended up taking myself on this adventure where I became a professional pet sitter. And so I haven't had a fixed address for the last 2 years, and I moved through life pet sitting, living in beautiful houses, writing, and working on my coaching business.
Okay. So what is that like for you? Because you said it like, I ended up doing this, almost like it wasn't at all what you expected. Are you still enjoying it? Like, does it fit with where you want to be right now in your life?
It is the perfect lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
I've always been the kind of person who loves fun and novelty and adventure and excitement, and this is just nonstop fun and adventure and excitement.
I love that. I feel like it is the opposite of me, but like in the best way. Like, I love this.
You know, it has been a bit tricky to get used to because there is a lot of uncertainty. Sometimes I don't know where I'm going tomorrow, and it's a lot of logistics and moving around and sort of life Tetris, I call it.
Yeah,
But
I could see that.
it has its perks.
Yeah, tell me about the perks.
Oh, I just live in so many beautiful houses, and I get to spend time with people's beautiful pets. And I'm just constantly surrounded by amazing views and nature and ocean, mountains. And it's an interesting lifestyle.
It sounds like it. Well, and it supports you in your writing, in your coaching business. It allows you to have almost creativity and flexibility to follow all these other passions.
Absolutely. Complete freedom.
Okay. What made you decide to start writing 2 years ago?
Oh, God. Well, I've always had this vision of wanting to write a book. Since I was a teenager, I really wanted to write a book, and I had no idea what I would ever write a book on. And as I moved through life, I was really into personal development, and I loved learning about people and psychology. And as I ended up getting into this relationship, I started to, we had some, issues in our relationship, as many do. And I ended up going to therapy. And everything that I was learning through therapy, I thought, this is really interesting, like how we're rolling with the punches here. And I decided to start documenting it, kind of blogging. And I started to put posts up on Facebook and just get some really lovely feedback from people saying, we're appreciating your vulnerability and thank you for sharing. You're helping me through this time in my life. And it sort of just sparked this real passion in me.
Do you have a particular like growth point or post that you remember writing that sticks with you?
You know what? The blog was quite a long time ago, but I feel like the writing that sticks with me these days is just there's been a lot of different stories in my memoir that I'm working on, and it's been such an interesting process. I find it so cathartic. I don't know how you feel with your writing journey.
Oh, yeah. We can compare notes in a moment.
Oh, yes. I would love that. I just find that when I'm looking from the perspective of myself today, and I'm looking back on, the woman who I was going through this experience, I can just see her so much more clearly now.
Okay. And this is the book Sugar Hit.
Yes, Sugar Hit.
Okay. I want an advanced copy. I want to read this book when you are done with it. First draft, you need notes, like send it my way. I am in. Okay.
Thank you.
So from what I remember you saying, Sugar Hit is your journey of sugar dating.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And for anybody who doesn't know what sugar dating is, sugar dating is, in my experience, dating older, wealthy men who provide a certain kind of lifestyle for you, and you provide, youthful vitality and fun and beauty and
companionship.
Companionship. Yeah.
Okay. When you were going through that in your life, where on the timeline does your story in Pillow Talk fit in? Is that well after? Was it before? Like, give me kind of a timeline of your journey to where you are now.
Sounds good. It's a bit of a labyrinth.
So is my life. So this is why we get along. Both of us are like
30 plus. Yeah.
Like, how many details do you want? My answer is all of them. Okay. There is never a detail too small for me to want to eat up.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, to give you a quick little my life in a nutshell, I started sugar dating when I was 23.
Okay.
And I lived at home with my Christian parents. So it was all very secret. This was the beginning of my double life. And as I began sugar dating and having, some really cool experiences, I was loving all of the experiences, but physically with these men, I was not having a good time. Like, I was not attracted to them. I was not in it. I was thinking purely benefits.
Yeah.
And as that was happening, I started to realize that I was attracted to women. And I was working at a pole dancing studio at the time. And I just really felt attracted to this other instructor who was a really good friend of mine. And so she knew that I was sugar dating, and it was kind of like we were friends, so we would talk about it, and then things kind of started to progress with us, and that was my story in Pillow Talk. So our first time together. And so I got myself into this interesting kind of position of I was getting all of my needs met from different places, but it was all kind of secret. So I actually didn't feel like anybody knew me fully because I was just a chameleon. No, it was just, I don't know how I pulled pulled the wool over my parents' eyes for so long, to be honest, living with them. And I was going out sugar dating, and I was, having my same-sex relationship behind closed doors, and
Yeah.
they were
Sometimes
none the wiser.
we don't know what we don't want to see, right?
Mm.
And, some of the language you used in your story really hit this idea of like you didn't even want to see it for a
Mm.
while. Like you said, you pulled the wool over your own eyes
Oh my
too.
God, well said.
And as you get to know yourself, as your needs are met, but maybe there's this deeper need that isn't being met, which is to be seen, to understood,
Mm.
to be understood. It's like that suddenly became more important than everything. And I'm putting words in your mouth, but that's how I interpreted
Oh
this.
no, you're so right. And it took me a really long time to get there, to that desire to be seen. It was always there, but I had just silenced it because I didn't feel that I could ever be seen and be safe. And it got to a point where I realized I need to create that safety within myself.
What did that look like for you?
It looked like just kind of stopping all the noise around me. And I really changed my relationship with alcohol because I had been a very heavy drinker and drug user for many, many years. And I just started to have this feeling like I don't want to be controlled by drugs and alcohol anymore. And so when I started to wean myself off that, I started to have all these feelings. And to cope with my feelings, I started to use internal family systems. So I was getting to know these parts of myself, and I was doing all these meditations. And it was through the IFS meditations that I realized, oh my God, there are so many parts of me that are just hurting. And they've been banished. They're sitting in the depth of my soul, and they feel so unloved. And that was a really brutal time, I have to say, because it was I decided to just go inside, I mean, like internally, and sit with them and learn about them and get to know them with no shame and no judgment, and just hear their stories. And it changed my life because I started to look at those parts of myself like little people or young women, little children, young women.
They're
And
basically unsupervised running around in your body until you decide to pay attention.
Exactly.
Well, and something you're saying there is resonating for me in that it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm going to do this work. It is another to realize the pain within you that has been screaming to be seen, to be understood, and then being able to not just notice it, but choose to stay in it so that those parts of you can be heard. Like that is so challenging and overwhelming and, similar to your story Into the Wild, freeing. Finally letting it exist.
Oh my God. It just feels so good. And, it's interesting talking to you about this now because it shows me how far I've come and how much I've grown, because I remember how hard it was to sit there and just feel my body just vibrating with the pain of all of these unfelt emotions and all of this hurt that was just layer upon layer. And to now be able to talk about it as a past event.
Oh,
my God, it is.
Well, you said that you had to build safety for yourself.
Yes.
So in your present day, how do you know that you're safe? What has building that safety brought you?
How do I know that I'm safe? Gosh. I know that I'm safe from doing this work so regularly and being so in tune with what is happening in my inner world that if I feel a feeling come up, I have this like rock solid agreement with myself now that we do not ignore that. So if a feeling rises, it doesn't matter what caused it. I don't need to have any information about it. All I need to know is that it's there and it needs attendance. And so I'll just drop everything if I can and just, or when I have space to do it, I'll just immediately go to that and sit down, put my arm around myself and go, what's happening, girl? What do you need? Like, what do you need from me? Tell me, and I'm there.
I'm so curious how that plays into you writing a memoir.
Oh, well, I feel like I am doing that. What I just explained, I'm doing that to my memoir because my memoir is full of all of the most painful and heartbreaking and joyous moments of my life. And well, there's a lot of pain and heartache in there because this is before I felt all these liberated feelings. So my memoir is like me unraveling all of those things, and now I just get to hold it.
I'm almost imagining like you're letting these parts of you almost like sit down on the couch with you and be like, okay, tell me your story.
Yes.
Let's let it exist. Let's actually put it on a page.
Yes.
It's not just in my memory, like this was real and what happened was real, and I want to see you while you're also potentially choosing to share this with the world.
So true. Oh my goodness. And just the way that you articulated that, that is why I wrote the story Into the Wild, because I wrote it as part of my memoir and then ended up developing the story for Pillow Talk. And I wrote the story. It was really hard for me to write it. And I wrote out a very tame version in the beginning with hardly any graphic details. And then I thought, no, I'm going to write a version of this. It was because I was worried at what other people were going to say when they read this. Like, it was so intimate. And so I thought, I'm going to write a version that nobody will ever have to see. It's just from my eyes only. And so then I just really gave her.
Yeah.
And when I read the finished copy, I thought, I think this needs to be shared. Because if I was to see this story as a young queer person who was really struggling with myself and I just struggled to accept myself, I would have really wanted to read that story. And so it became necessary.
Well, and even though maybe the way you described it, like less graphic versus more graphic, it was also so sensitive. Like the story and the details, you could tell that it was held with care. And the way you flipped back and forth between like what felt true, what felt freeing, you kept using words like heavenly. And then what your brain was taught to believe, like the role that you were trying to fit into that just didn't fit who you were. And just the way you pulled back and forth between them. It was like, oh, I should, but like I can't not be this.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are so many people that will read that story who understand the delicacy of that and the balance of that and giving yourself that freedom. And then years later, finally being able to accept that within you. Like that's so necessary and so important.
So necessary and so scary to think that the way I truly felt at the time was I'm taking this secret to the grave. I'm never telling anybody about this. It's too shameful. I can't in my community. And to think if myself back then could have seen the way that I live now, this would shock the shit out of her, let me tell you.
Okay. What would she be shocked by? How would she react to seeing your life?
God. She would just be in awe. And like it almost makes me a bit emotional to say that because yeah, she would be in awe.
You are
Because
living your life freely and
yeah,
openly with creativity and
mm,
excitement and fun.
yeah, and bravery. I think that's what she would be most proud of.
You
Yeah,
are the person that she needed.
yes. And it's very, very special to be able to embody that now and to give that to her and also to give her a voice when she couldn't have a voice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking back to honoring her with this story into the
Mm,
wild. Like you're showing her, I see you. I
yeah.
see what you held. I see what you thought you could never share.
Mm,
Like I can share it even if you couldn't. And like you get to exist.
yeah. Yes. And that is how I feel from my whole memoir, actually. All of these secrets that I held that felt too shameful and I had a voice and I had opinions and I had my own beliefs and I didn't feel that I could share them and now I can. And so really this book is for my younger self. That's its purpose.
Oh,
Give her a voice.
that is so powerful.
Mm,
I want to share something and see if it resonates with
mm,
you. So, I mean, you've read my story, I'm
I have,
sure.
yes.
So you know I identify as a demisexual,
Hmm.
biromantic, and I'm a third culture kid. I grew up all over the world in the Middle East and Southeast Asia.
Mm,
So I grew up in countries that didn't have freedom.
mm.
In that way, you couldn't be yourself. You
Wow.
couldn't even pretend to have attraction to anyone, much less, being queer. And I always, like, it never really bothered me. It was normal to me. That was just my life. And when I moved to America, it still never bothered me. I had this belief of, like, I am who I am no matter how I identify. Why does everybody else need to know? It wasn't necessarily that I hid it. It was more like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be
Mm,
attracted to who I'm attracted to. I'm going to live the life that I want to live. I'm going to not date if I don't want to date. And something shifted in the last couple years that it almost feels like a call to representation of, yeah, sure, it might not actually matter to me whether somebody knows who I am or how I identify, but it might actually make a difference in someone else's life,
mm.
that I'm willing to say it, that I'm willing to share stories that people used to not even be allowed to share.
Wow. Yeah, that I think you have really hit the nail on the head there. And I think when it becomes not about you anymore and it becomes about, other people, all of a sudden it just shifts the importance of the message
Yeah.
becomes so strong because you're thinking, I'm not like, who am I going to take this away from by not sharing?
Yeah.
If you think about that person, who are you taking this away from? Who are you willing to take this away from? That that unlocked a
Exactly.
new level for me when I started thinking like that. I'm like, I don't want to take this away from anyone. Do I want to take this away from this woman or this
Yeah.
person? No.
And it might not be huge systemic change,
Mm.
but for the person who needs you to speak up, it is everything.
Yes.
And so it isn't just, do I want to share this story? It feels like I need to share these
Yes.
stories.
Yes. Very true. Sounds like we're in the same vein there.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking back to some words that you used before this meeting today, which was how you used to numb,
Mm.
and then you have found this inner peace, this liberation, and how your memoir is kind of shifting from one into the other. And I don't even really know what my question is for this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just kind of like, I'm thinking about that journey and the bravery it takes to pause and go, I don't want to numb anymore.
Mm. Yeah, that was one of the hardest things I have ever done is quitting alcohol and drugs. Because I had a pretty good cocaine habit going there for a while, and you know, drinking every night. I would have a cocktail of drugs going on, and there was hardly, I would be soberish during my daytime hours, but I was just ticking over day by day, numbing, numbing, numbing. And I know now why that was, but at the time I thought I was just fun. I thought I was a party girl and I liked having a good time. And it wasn't until I started to take those feelings away or take those numbing coping mechanisms away that I started to realize, oh my God, that's why I was doing that, because it feels terrible when I don't do that.
Yeah.
And that was the start of a huge journey for me.
Well, pause in the journey part. Come back to the before you shifted. Because, now looking back on it, you're like, I get that that was helping me numb. It was helping me do all these things. But I'm curious what else it gave you. Like, what made it something that was the choice versus,
Mm,
any other coping skill you could have had? Like, what did it help you with? What did it
mm.
give you?
I think it made the things in my life that didn't feel okay, it made them feel okay. So the fact that I didn't really have any direction with my life, I didn't have anything that I was really working toward, apart from just showing up and, living my day-to-day life. But I didn't really have any goals. Couldn't think of myself being successful in any areas. And my relationship at the time, there was a lot of things, a lot of parts of that relationship that didn't feel good to me. But when I was drinking every night, it becomes not so bad.
Yeah, it was easier to accept that parts of you were hiding in the
Oh,
shadows
yeah.
and that,
Yeah,
yeah, this is just my life.
absolutely. That's exactly what it was. This is just my life, and every night it's okay because I'm having some wine.
Yeah. But then it stopped being okay.
Yes, stopped being okay. Yeah. And it's funny how it happened. It's like I just woke up one day and I thought, I don't want to be controlled by this anymore. Like the moment that sparked my drinking, my cutback journey was a conversation I had with my sister. I have a younger sister. She's 4 years younger. She lives in Australia. And she was getting married. And she said the wedding was 3 months away. And she said, oh, I've just decided I'm not going to drink until the wedding. And I remember thinking, what? How can you just not decide casually that you're not going to drink for 3 months?
Like, how's that possible?
How is that possible? I couldn't even not drink for one night. And that was a real wake-up call, that moment of, wow, people can just do that. And I thought, I don't think I could even do that. I couldn't do 3 months of no drinking. And so I thought, okay, I'm just going to try and have one night off. And it was so hard just to have one night off.
Which
I
I'm sure was
remember
even more of an eye opener of like, oh,
it
like I
was.
can't do this.
Yeah, that was scary.
So what made it worth it? Like this isn't possible. Oh God, this is awful. Every time I stop, all of this pain comes in. Like
Mm.
you don't know how to sit in pain yet. You're not where you are today. What made it worth it?
Oh, such a good question. What made it worth it at that time was the feeling of no longer disappointing myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I got like a gut punch from that one. And my mind goes back to what you were saying about your parents and like how you were
Mm.
trying to show up right. and trying to maybe not disappoint them. But then there's this shift of like, wait,
Mm.
am I disappointing myself?
I think that has been such a huge part of my personal discovery is thinking that I'm disappointing everyone else, where it's really myself that I'm disappointing. And so when you start to experience the reverse of that and you feel proud of yourself, it just opens up a whole new world, and it highlights, it's like a seesaw. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to wake up and be proud of yourself. Like, I was so proud of myself the first time I woke up and hadn't drunk the night before. And I just couldn't even remember feeling like that before. Like, I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah. Well, and the life you
And then-
live now,
Yeah. I'm proud of myself every day.
which is amazing.
Not all day, every day, but every day. Mm.
Yeah, the overall general feeling of it is
Yes,
right. Even if
exactly.
you fall into old patterns here and there,
Yes.
or don't show up exactly the way that maybe your core self would want you to.
Yes, exactly. But yeah,
Something-
what a world of difference.
What a world of difference. Something that I've been sitting with a lot recently in a lot of different relationships in my life, with a lot of my friends, helping them through it, even with my clients. This is a very common theme right now of, as you start to listen to that voice, as you try to not disappoint yourself, there will always be people who go, wait, but usually you're not disappointing me, but now you're showing up differently. And there's always this assumption, not everyone does it, but there's always someone who does it in your life who's like, wait, but I'm not used to you showing up this way, so you must be doing something wrong.
Mm.
And then there's this judgment, and then there's this doubt in you of like, wait, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? These people are telling me that it's wrong or it's bad. But it all goes back to that. Internally, is this what you need to make yourself proud?
Oh, wow. Yes. That's a really amazing, sort of topic that you've touched on there, because that is what I do in my work now as a transformational coach, is identity work. And
Tell me more.
This is what I had to do. My whole past, few years, I would say, has been me quantum leaping and changing identities. And that is so difficult to do when, like you said, people around you are like, hang on a minute, this isn't who you are. This isn't who I know you to be. You can't just do that. You can't just change. And that's where you have to just have that strength inside, because you have to want it so deeply for yourself and be okay with showing up in a way that is different to what people expect, and knowing that that's what you want for yourself. You want to be different. You want this identity shift. You want to be the person that brings, peace and liberation and joy into your life, not the person who sits around and complains with all their friends because, life's not good enough and you're all on the same level, so it's okay.
Or I'm so busy trying to make everybody else happy that I'm not even listening to what I want.
Exactly.
And then I'm miserable and complaining because I'm not actually showing up as my true self.
Exactly. So it takes a lot of courage to be who you want to be, or to be who you are. Yeah.
Well, and what a skill to be able to notice the difference. Because people can sit around and be like, well, yeah, I want to be my true self. But finding that voice and choosing to show up differently is terrifying. It goes against not just what we think our community wants for us, but what we have spent however much amount of time, years, decades of our lives trying to fit into that box.
Yeah.
It is so scary to go, wait, what if I step out of it? What if I don't have to listen to this fear? What if I can just do the thing that I want to do and it'll be okay?
Yeah. And it's so hard because the fear is so loud. The fear will be the loudest thing that you will hear. And it's it's having the wherewithal to say, okay, fear, I see you there. I appreciate, what you've brought, and I'm still going to do this.
Yeah. How do you do? Like if you're making a choice and the
Oh,
fear shows up, do you literally say that, or is there a different way that you kind of show up with yourself with fear?
hmm. In a moment like that, I would take a minute to really sit with that decision and think about why am I thinking about making this decision? Is this a decision that I'm making because it is something that I really want for myself? Like I kind of look for that full body yes, where I think if the fear wasn't there, would I just do this? And so if it's a yes, then it's like, oh well, girlfriend, looks like you're doing the thing. But the reverse of that is if I am actually unsure and I don't know if this is a good decision for me, the fear might actually be something you want to listen to in that moment. So
Yeah.
it's good to have that little compass inside.
Ooh, I'm trying to think how I would sit with fear.
Mm.
I spent most of my life panicking that I was behind. I would move so fast and try to get everything done and try to do it perfectly, and I never slowed down. And I feel like one of the biggest skills that I have strengthened within myself in all this work that I've done is any time that fear shows up, I give myself permission to stop. Like, this doesn't have to be an urgent decision. I don't have to know immediately. I actually could let fear sit here for a couple hours to a couple days. And like, I don't have to know what the fear is trying to tell me immediately. And I think trying to take away that sense of urgency allows me to be curious about the fear instead of giving into the fear.
Oh my God, I love that.
And so, sitting for a moment and then pausing with it. And, I was thinking about, I had a big decision to make about whether to send like a big email or not this past week. And I was in therapy and I was talking to my therapist about it. And she was like, well, is there urgency? And in my head, I'm like, why didn't I think of that? That's literally what I always do. And I was like, there isn't any urgency. So I kind of slow down and it's like, well, what are my motivations? And I'm almost picturing it like if I'm on a hiking trail is usually how I describe it. And I come to a fork in the road and each decision is a different path. And yes, right here, right now, I do have to make a choice, but like, which way am I headed? Which way is in alignment with my future? It doesn't actually matter if the fear is here right now. If the fear is afraid of going right, but the right is the direction that my future, like I want to head in, then I'm going to go right either way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love the visual of the fork in the road too. Because those, there's there is decisions that feel just like that. Like it's like, it's not subtle. It's like this way or this way goes the complete opposite direction. And it's scary to think that you'll make a wrong choice for yourself. But I love that you just sit with it and you take away the pressure and the time factor, because I think that gives you a lot of clarity too.
Yeah, it's like if you sit in the fear long enough, you might actually learn something about it. Versus what decision do I have to make the fear go away? That is very different from what decision actually fits for me.
Oh, oh, you're on to the good stuff.
I know. Do you remember when we started recording? I was like, you and I are going to go in every direction. It's going to be beautiful. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I could just feel it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Just like bringing it back to your story, when you were in the closet for so long, that was, what can I do to make the fear go away? I'm just not going to tell anyone. Versus what decision do I need to make to feel true to myself? That's actually ignoring the fear and choosing to talk to your parents anyway.
Yeah. God. Yeah, it's interesting. to look back and think that I genuinely thought that was an option, to hide myself from the whole world for the rest of my time here. That I think that gives me a look into how much I struggled back in those days, that I would think that that was a better option than facing other people's reactions or other people's opinions on who I was.
Yeah.
It seemed like a better idea. Like I must have been so afraid or so fearful of judgment from others that I would
You
do that
thought
to
that this
myself.
was normal.
Yes.
This is what your life was supposed to feel like.
Yeah. And that makes me sad. Like sad for that young woman. Oh my goodness. That's why it makes me feel so good writing this book for her, because she wasn't able to express herself, and now she is. So
Well, and you got to start your life all over again in a way.
I did.
I'm like, it's worth it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what age you are.
If it unlocks that
Oh my
freedom, isn't
God.
it worth it?
Yes. Oh, 100%. And, so funny, when I left my ex, we had a very beautiful, beautiful life together in terms of living in an amazing house and not having to worry about working, like not worrying about basic things that a lot of people do worry about. And I just I didn't know what was on the other side of leaving him. And that was such a scary decision to think, what am I going to do? I felt so unstable and insecure, and to think that it actually gave me an opportunity to just step into who I am and really go for all of the things that I want in life, and feel that peace, not having to walk around on eggshells anymore, and just really get to know myself so well. Like it's just, I really did start my life over again as a 36-year-old.
Amazing.
It was. It is. Every day I'm learning more, and
I love it so much. It's just because you have this energy of lightness and excitement about you, even as we're discussing the hardships and what you had to go through and what you have unlocked. Like, you're smiling and you're laughing, and it's just like I'm so excited that I get to share in this with you. It's so powerful.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you for reflecting that back to me, because it's cool to see it from that perspective. Like you don't see yourself the way other people see you. Really.
Well, confident, calm,
Mm.
inviting, accepting. And, when we were talking about the process of writing this memoir and like what it feels for you and the story you're writing for yourself, you can hold it. Your whole story, like the you sitting in front of me right now, I have no doubt in my mind that you are able to hold that story for every past version of you.
Oh, that makes me feel so good. And, actually what you've just described is what I feel like I have been in training for in releasing this book into the wild, into the wild. Because I've noticed that when I get up on the mic and I'm reading some stories, like when I've started to read into the wild on the mic, holy moly, the first time I did that was really hard. Like it is a hard story to hold myself through, because it's one of my most intimate sexual experiences, and one of the scariest moments of my life was telling my parents that I was queer. So to get up and speak that to a room of people is like hella intimidating.
I haven't done it yet. I'm actually.
You haven't done it?
It makes me nervous thinking about doing it. I think I would, but yeah, I even feel the fear just imagining sharing the vulnerability of my story out loud in front of a group of people. So I can't even imagine what it was like actually doing it.
Like,
Okay, let's take a break. I need a
I
minute.
know. I feel like I'm always right in the middle of like the sauciest sex scene, the sauciest part. And I'm just like, I just need to take a sip of water. And the whole audience is like, oh, is there a cooler around here somewhere? But in saying that, oh my God, it's been so liberating to share this. It makes me actually feel invincible when I can get up on a mic and talk about something that is that vulnerable and stand there and be okay, hold myself as I cry or feel any emotions while I'm up there and feel the audience just hold me. The audience just, I feel them like so strongly holding me and I feel just invincible. Like I can literally do anything.
Wow. What a feeling. And how healing that must be.
Oh my goodness.
From feeling like I can't do anything to like I can literally do anything. I can hold it all.
Oh my God. So this is what, going through all of this IFS work that I've done and getting to know these parts and holding them through whatever they need. They are now all so behind me in anything I do. And so I know when I bring this book out into the world, my memoir, and it is going to be really challenging. There's going to be people who have opinions and people are going to read all of the scary, hard things about my life. And I know now that I've got myself. It doesn't matter what anybody says. I can hold myself through it. And that is all of this work I've done has been leading up to this.
Well, and there will also be so many people supporting you in it and lifting you up, myself included in that list.
Thank
Like
you.
you have a community behind you, even just with Pillow Talk, you have a community behind you who are going to remind you that you're invincible, that you can handle it.
Yeah.
And, thinking about your memoir, I feel like I could hear where you're talking about of like the criticisms, but I myself have so many curiosities about the experience of sugar dating. And I know a lot of other people are going to be like, wait, like this isn't something people typically talk about. Like I want to know more.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a bit of a taboo topic. And not a lot of people know about it,
No, or if they do, it's like a joke, like in a movie or a TV show.
I'm gonna get a sugar daddy, exactly.
Yeah, versus like, wait, this is an experience. This is something that can be shared. And this is something that we can fight stigma around.
So true. Yeah. There's a lot of women that, I've had some interesting stories come out when I am open with my story and whether women have just thought about it or whether they have done it. And, there's just, I feel like there's a lot of empowerment, but there's a lot of shame around it too. Because depending on the reasons why you're doing it, like I was doing it because I wanted a kind of life experience and I didn't really want to be in those relationships in the way that I was. And so because that's self-abandoning. So that felt shameful to me. And so there's some women who talk about it in an empowering way. So
did you feel any empowerment while you were doing it, or was it truly more like a means to an end?
I mean, I was getting something from it for sure. I think I was getting a lot of validation. I would be treated like a queen. And so that was pumping up my ego big time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Being told how wonderful you are all the time. And just the compliments were like so over the top that I just got used to that. And I would just really absorb it. And I used to be pretty cocky.
Can't imagine like the stories of you just like, I'm, behind closed doors and I was abandoning myself. Like, and now I'm confident. And now I'm like, well, if you were cocky then, like, imagine unlocking this like confidence in yourself.
Yes,
like this knowing.
That's different.
It's different from cocky, but it's almost better.
It is better. Yeah.
Like
No,
I
that's
can
so
do
funny.
any.
I was pretend confident. I was cocky and a bit entitled back in the day. And it was all a show. It was a mask. I was appearing. I wanted to appear like I was amazing.
Well, it protected you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just another part doing
Yep.
what it could to get you
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, so true.
How far are you in writing Sugarhead?
Well, I get asked this question a lot and it's so hard to answer
I feel
because,
that.
yeah, I'm sure you do. I see, I used to be shooting for around 75,000 words and now I have 85,000 words, but I have probably 75% of the story
Okay.
and it needs revision. So
Mhm.
I'm somewhere in the realm of 75% done.
I say you're more than halfway
Yep.
of getting the story out there.
Yes.
And I mean, that's incredible. And we'll have to have you back on the podcast
Oh my
when it
gosh.
releases so we can actually,
Please.
I can read the book and then we can talk about it in a little bit more detail.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm so
would
excited.
absolutely love that.
Yeah. Say the book I'm writing right now, not a memoir. I've had a lot of people tell me to write a memoir, but it hasn't spoken to me yet. So it's it.
Mm. What's your book about? I would love to hear.
So it's currently titled A Case Study in Miscommunication. And it was born because myself and several of my friends kind of at the same time were ending relationships, not because we didn't care about the other person, but because there were just so many miscommunications. And I became a couples therapist during that relationship and basically would come out and be like, hey, like we can work on this. Hey, wait, I know I have a skill. Hey, wait, can we try this? And my partner at the time was just like, no, I don't want to do that. No, we're fine. No, we don't have any problems. It was like,
Oh
if
my God.
there had been any willingness to get into the messy with me, to like try to figure this out, we might not have worked still, but I think we would have had a better understanding of why. We would have maybe ended on the same page, or we would have lasted a lot longer because of it.
Wow.
And there are so many people that I help day in and day out that care about each other so much, but just they're so in their own perspectives, they can't break it to
Mm.
understand the other person. So my story follows a couple through the first year of living together, and it jumps back and forth between their two perspectives.
Oh,
And
wow.
like assuming good intentions and like the honeymoon phase, and then when things start getting kind of messy and they're miscommunicating and they're not hearing each other, and it
Oh,
like blows up. But then I want that to be kind of the start of the rest of the story. And they like figure out the skills and get uncomfortable together and like don't listen to fear and do it anyway. And basically, like they actually end up lasting because they're willing to
Oh my
like slow
God.
down and hear each other.
Love that.
I know. So
Oh,
I'm about like 60% done with the initial story, and then I
amazing.
have 1,000 ideas. So I keep like writing the ideas down and then like, okay, keep writing the draft. You'll get to them later. That's what revisions are for. It's fine.
That's so funny. What a process it is, hey?
Yeah, it really
It's like a big, giant brain explosion, and then you somehow organize it.
Yeah, so I'm still in explosion phase.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of there too.
Well, and then there's pieces like, oh, but I want like this detail to be in there. So then I have to rework it through the whole story. And well, that would be really nice. So like now I need to rework it in this draft one.
It's hard.
And I'll
Oh my God,
revise.
writing is like so. The creative process is just so. It's so beautiful, but it's so challenging too when you're actually trying to make it something, not just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
It
Oh, yeah.
adds another element of like, whoa. Like I can sometimes get overwhelmed by my book, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm loving this.
Yeah. What I love about it, though, going back to that idea of like, I've always rushed through stuff and pushed
Mm.
through, I don't feel like I can push this.
Mm.
Like, if I'm not in the mood to write, I'm not going to write anything good. And if the creativity sparks, I need to be able to go with it. So it's almost training my brain for flexibility. allow for breaks, like go with the ebb and
Mm.
flow. Don't get too logical with it. Just let the explosion on the page happen. You can bring logic in later. Like it's such a skill that I didn't know was missing from my life
Mm.
until I started writing more consistently in the last couple of years, just like you.
Wow. Wow. So when you just started in the last couple of years?
So, so I've always wanted to be a writer since I was a kid. And I first started my first novel when I was in undergrad and didn't go anywhere. In fact, I don't even know where it is right now. I know it's in a box somewhere.
Oh my God.
And then never wrote again. Have to focus on my career, have to go to grad school, have to get that internship, have to get that job. And then I got the job and all the goalposts ended. And I went, what do I do now?
Oh.
And that's when I started my own business, still focused on career track, didn't go into creativity. My career, I'm a trauma therapist. I own my own practice, and that started to stabilize. And then once again, I went, okay, but this isn't enough. Like, I don't just want to work. And that's when I started my podcast.
Wow.
Because it's like, I need creativity. And with the
Yeah.
podcast, I do guests and then I do written scripts and like solo. So I got to write a little there.
Awesome.
That sparked it for me of like, wait, I love this creativity. I love talking to people, but I also love writing. And I want more. And then I ran into Heather through social media and had her on my podcast for period pieces.
Okay.
And she was like, you should submit a story. And I was, 15% done with my novel at that point. And I was like, maybe I'll get to it someday. And then I submitted this story, went through this whole process, and the entire time my brain is like, okay, but my novel. Okay, wait, but this. Oh, wait, but I want to write. Wait, I'm not done yet. Wait, not just this story. Like, let's keep going.
You really ignited something within yourself.
And I'm trying really hard to listen to that inner voice. And because I have so much I'm passionate about. I am somebody that every other day I come up with a new idea. I have so many dreams and so much that I want to experience in life that it's like, it's that slow down and, that hiking trail path of like, which way fits me right now?
Oh,
Who do I want to be? What path helps me get there?
I love that because I get like that too. So excited by life and there's all these possibilities. And sometimes that, while I love that about myself, it can overwhelm me sometimes. So I love that you take that opportunity to just simmer down a little bit.
Yeah.
And
you need to sometimes. Like
you do.
Once this story got submitted, I was like, okay, I'm going to put the writing on pause. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to focus on this editing process, on this publication process, on what this is like, and actually let myself be in this experience fully. My other project can wait. And then once it was published, I was like, cool, now that it's published, now I can go back to it.
Yeah, I love that. And how was the experience for you, writing or having your Pillow Talk story out in the world? Like, I know you said you'd be nervous to share it on the mic, but how was it having it published in the book?
I loved it. It was a little nerve-wracking, and I always laugh because, especially now that it's, a bestseller, we're a best-selling author.
I know,
at this point.
amazing.
It's amazing. But I would tell my family or my friends, like, yeah, I'm a best-selling author. It's a book about sex, and I open up about my sexual trauma. Like, you can read it if you want to, but like, I don't know if it's up your alley. And I've had some people like respectfully decline to read my story. And I've had some people that are like, can I have a copy? Wait, can I read it?
Wow.
This is amazing. And I had a family member read it, and the first thing they did was apologize that it was what I went through. And then like the second thing they said was, you're so brave, you're so amazing. Like, I love where you've become, like where you've gotten in your life. And so that's kind of the dream, right? Like, yeah, this shitty thing happened and it sucks that it happened, but it didn't slow me down. It didn't stop me. And I am continuing to find my voice every single day. So like, it was so worth publishing that story. It was so worth pushing through and ignoring the fear, like accepting the fear, but like not agreeing with it.
Yeah, not letting it stop us.
choosing to take that step forward.
And doesn't that feel good to
Oh, it's amazing.
choose to take that step forward?
It's
Well,
terrifying,
it is so terrifying.
but it's so, so worth it.
Yes, it is. And, it was a really beautiful moment I was at the Whistler launch for Pillow Talk and then the Squamish launch. And there was 7 of us contributors at the Squamish launch. And, just holding each other on stage and everybody reading their story out, and everybody's story has something that's, hard to share. And just the courage, the collective courage of the contributors, and then feeling held by the audience. It's like, how can you go wrong with that? Like, it putting out an incredible message. And I'm so grateful to Heather for doing this, for putting this book out into the world. And now it is just creating this ripple effect of beauty and acceptance and shame slaying. And we get to lead the pack.
You use the phrase collective courage. And I wanted to slow down and with you, because what a beautiful experience at those events, but also just knowing all 18 of us are here collectively courageous, collectively choosing. This isn't just a want, this is a need. Like, this story needs to be told, and this book is the book to do it. And we're not just fighting shame, we are collectively inviting everyone else to be courageous with us.
Oh, I just got goosebumps. Well said.
Oh, it's just amazing.
God, it is amazing. I feel very honored to be a part of this.
Me too. And I'm so grateful that you and I are sharing this space today.
Me too. Wow, what a conversation.
I know. So I always like to pause kind of towards the end and have you check in and see if there's anything that didn't get said today. Anything you feel that's left lingering in your mind that deserves to take up space.
I think the only thing the thing that's coming up for me is looking back on my past relationship and very gradually realizing over time that I wasn't happy, and that it actually wasn't what I wanted for myself, and having the awareness to know that in the first place, and then the courage to actually go for it, to remove myself from that relationship, to create space for the life that I have now. I think it feels important to just honor that piece of the story too, and to just have shared that. Yeah.
I love that. And something that I always say and remind myself, you're never stuck. You can always change your mind. You can always shift your perspective. You can always choose to do something different. And, maybe there's circumstances where you can't change immediately. But like, I'm thinking COVID, people who are kind of stuck with partners during COVID, you might be like, oh, I don't want to be in this relationship. You might have to wait a minute before you can leave.
Yeah.
But you're never actually stuck. And so no matter how old you are, no matter where you're at in your life, if you wake up one day and you're unhappy and you wish you could be doing something else, you can.
Yeah. Wow, that is such a powerful piece that you just brought up. And God, so important for us all to remember.
I mean, you brought it up. I'm just emphasizing. We make a good team.
We do. We make a very excellent team.
I am very good at reflecting back the things that you've just said.
You are. You are very good at that. But yes, so important for everybody to hear that message, that you are never stuck. You can always change course. And the tricky thing is that it can feel like you are stuck. Because had you asked me 2 years ago, I would have absolutely said that I was stuck and trapped. I would have used language like that. And I just feel like I think in a completely different channel now.
Yeah.
I've changed channels. So
What was keeping you stuck was your own perspective, your own
Yes.
belief that that's where you
Yes.
were.
Oh my goodness. You know, it's so funny, just the topic that we're on right now. I did an IFS meditation, and it was a younger version of myself that was in this cage. I have these really vivid visuals when I'm doing these meditations, and
I do too.
you do as well. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, we need to talk more about this.
Okay.
On another episode.
Next time we'll start with our different parts and we can like
Yes! Oh my
introduce each
God.
other to each other. And then we'll talk about sugar hit and when it's
tea. Yeah.
releasing.
Oh my gosh, amazing. But I had this part that was sitting in a cage, and I, as the 38-year-old adult, walked up to release her from the cage and just pulled the cage open. Like, she'd been in there for so long, and I just had this moment of like, oh my God, it wasn't even locked. She just has been sitting in there, and she didn't know that she could just push the door open.
That's amazing.
Mm.
That's so powerful. Not just the imagery, but what it means for you.
So like, we have to claim it. If there's something that we want, I used to think that life needed to happen to me. So the opportunity had to come to me if it was for me. And now I'm like on the offense. Like, if I want something, I'm gonna go get that shit. My brain just starts working like, okay, how do I bring this into my life? And you become like a magnet when you start thinking like that. Like, the world is there for you. So just step up and take it, claim it.
Yeah. And if it isn't for you, somebody will tell you no.
Yeah, exactly.
Respect that boundary and go find something else.
Course correct. Life is just a bunch of course corrections.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's wrong. It's just, changing direction a little bit.
And the willingness to be flexible with that, because then again, that fits with your voice. If something doesn't feel right all of a sudden, can you hear that? Correct course. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm really big on not worrying if you change your mind about something, because some people think, and this has been me in the past, if I've said out loud to people, I'm committing to this, then I can't just like change my mind or change direction. And now it's not about that. It's about how I feel inside. So one day I might feel good about that decision. The next day I think, you know what, that's actually not aligned for me. And it doesn't matter to me what other people think. I'm just going to take it off the table or go in a different direction. And that's okay too.
Because full circle, you're making yourself proud.
Yes, exactly. Oh.
Thank you so much for sharing your story today and for giving all these teasers for what is coming next for you. Because again, I'm on the reading list. Please let me know.
Oh my goodness.
I wanna read it.
Oh, I would love to share it with you. I'm so excited to share it with you. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. This has just been such an inspiring and invigorating talk.
I know. I feel energized to like go do something.
Too.
Like, what does my life need? Hopefully our audience feels the same way.
Yes, I hope so too. That is what I hope for every person. Just live without limit.
Oh, yes. All right. We're going to end there.
Amazing.
This was such a cool episode, and hopefully something we talked about today resonated with you. If it did, let yourself sit with that idea for a little while longer. If you have any questions for this podcast, send us a message on Instagram at insightswithuspodcast, or send us an email at insightswithus@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to hear more, please follow, like, or subscribe. Send it to your friends. Let's build this community. And if you want to support the continuation of this podcast, you can donate. You can support us on Substack or find me, Anastasia Soroka, on buymeacoffee.com. You can find digital downloads on my website, happymindwellness.com. Thank you for being my adventure buddy. I appreciate you, and I appreciate that you're here. Thank you for creating insight with us.